Alright guys, so today I'm going to talk about why religion was not created by man. So when I was an atheist, I used to think that religion was just created by people, right? In order to control people, right? Because that's what happened in history, right? A lot of people use religion as a way to control the populace. But my understanding of religion has kind of changed a little bit. And it's because the truth was never created by man. It was created by the truth, by God. So it's not that religion was created by man, it was created by God. Religion itself was created by truth, right? So that's the thing that, like, you know, it got revealed to us by humans. Like, you know, the religion got revealed to humans, but it wasn't created by man, right? It just got revealed to us, right? So that's the thing with the religion, guys. Like, especially with Islam. Islam is the truth, right? And how was this truth created? Well, it wasn't created by us. It just got revealed to us, you know, by the mercy of God. God is the ultimate, you know, original singular point that governs this entire universe, that basically puts everything in its universe together, right? And religion is just a guideline, is basically just like a certain guideline of how to live life as a human. And there's certain truths about how we operate, certain truths about the world, right? That make the Quran the truth, right? And, you know, what you end up realizing is if you're someone who seeks wisdom and seeks truth long enough as a human, you will eventually arrive at Islam. You will eventually arrive at religion. Because finding Islam is just, you find Islam as a byproduct of seeking truth as a human. See, that's the thing. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm like in Japan as a samurai. I could live literally as a Japanese samurai for 500 years. And I'll eventually arrive at Islam. I'll eventually arrive at the same conclusions as Islam. What is this? Well, basically being kind to people, right? Not having sex outside of marriage, right? The disasters that happen with that. There are certain truths, like there are certain conclusions that the Quran has stated, like don't eat pork, don't do these things, don't kill people, right? There's certain things in the Quran, there's certain truths in the Quran that you end up realizing are truths when you live life long enough as a human. See, so like, you know, I didn't really have to be handed the Quran. Because I could have literally I could learn about the Quran without reading it. I could literally live life. Because if I just live life and seek truth long enough as a human, I'll eventually arrive at the Quran. You guys understand? I'll eventually arrive at religion. Because the truth, basically, you have to think about religion as like an observation of the truth. Right? So think about how you basically, when you read the Quran, it just gives you the truth on a silver platter. Right? But that does not mean that the truth was not there before. Because just because Christianity, like just because Islam and Christianity did not exist before, does not mean that the truth was not there before. Does not mean that God did not exist before. Like, are you telling me that God only existed when the Quran got founded, when the Bible got founded? Like, no. God existed forever. Like, he's existed way before any of these has happened. But it just didn't get revealed to us until recently. So that's the difference, right? Like, there are a lot of people, you know, before Jesus' time that basically arrived at very similar conclusions on how to live life, right? Various, like, philosophies in the Quran, right? Detachment from worldly desires, right? Like, you know, this is a very important concept in Islam, is, like, basically the detachment of the dunya, right? And there are, like, Solomon, right? He basically arrived at this point. He arrived that, you know, no matter how many worldly desires you obtain, like riches, women, wealth, fame, it doesn't matter how much you obtain, you will never be fully fulfilled, right? And that's the basic conclusion that King Solomon eventually arrived at, right? And this is someone that, you know, basically lived life before Muhammad, before even the Quran got founded, but he understood the Quran in every way. Because like I said, just because the truth didn't get revealed at the time does not mean it did not exist back then. Because Solomon ended up finding truth, because he was someone that was trying to search for wisdom, so he ended up finding the truth. You see? Like, if I was going to do the same exact thing as Solomon and just live, like, for 500 years, like, if I was, like, immortal, right? Then I'll eventually arrive at those similar conclusions of how to live life as a human, right? Because we're humans, right? So I would eventually arrive at, like, okay, what's correct for us as humans to do? Like what are the moral compasses that have been instilled in us? Because you have to keep in mind that, like, you know, you don't have to tell a baby to not kill something, because God has instilled a moral compass within the baby, right? That's the thing. Like, we all have a moral compass that was instilled to us by God, and it's the same one, right? People just kind of diverge from the straight path as they live life long enough. But everyone is born with a moral compass, and the moral compass is very constant within every human, because God has given us these moral compasses to live life by. So yeah, guys, like, you know, that's the thing about religion. It's not created by man. You know, that's one of the biggest misconceptions about life, because the truth is never created by man. It's created by God, you know? So you don't really, you know, because I was an atheist before, but, you know, I eventually realized that, yeah, you know, I never thought I was going to be religious, you know, because I was just seeking truth. But I ended up finding truth in Islam. So all I'm doing is just practicing the truth heavily, which basically means being AKA religious. But I don't like the word religious because it basically like states that it's not the truth. But it's like, no, like I'm not really being religious. I'm just practicing the truth. I'm just seeking truth. That's all I'm doing. Like basically like being religious and seeking truth is like the same thing at this point, right? Because it's like, it wasn't like I was going to practice Islam because I wanted to. I only practiced Islam because I realized it was the truth and that it wasn't created by humans, it was created by God, right? That's the reason why I submit to Islam. So you have to keep in mind, like, yeah, you have to keep in mind, you know, that's my reasoning behind it, right? So, you know, it's kind of weird because like, I really used to think it was used to control people, but when you realize it, like, no, like, you know, God chooses his servants and he chose me as his worthy servant.